Good morning, Muscatine. It's Monday, so you know what that means. It's a Megan Monday. I don't know how we do Mondays around here without you, to be quite honest. Like, they're never the same. They're always just kind of like ho-hum, drum, drum, drum. Anyway, so got to do something cool this weekend. We got to pre-record an episode of the Muscatine Today Show with a friend of mine from all the way back in second grade, and another friend from middle school. We've had this cool project that we've been working on. I think some of you have probably seen it. Adam Means, Edwin Cologne, and Lost Treasures, and Adam's history projects. And we got to talk about that and what we've been going through for the last year and some of the cool stuff. So I can't wait to have that ready for you guys later this week. It should be interesting because it's really, a bunch of guys who, I mean, realistically, a bunch of friends who found a way to kind of work together on a cool project. And hopefully that comes through. If nothing else, we're having fun, right? So there's that. Couple reminders, since we're into November, that really means, and I actually saw this on TikTok. I don't remember what the account name was, but there was a lady who literally, it was November 1st, she flips the calendar and goes straight into Christmas mode. Like all over everywhere, just like puking Christmas stuff everywhere, shooting the Christmas cannon, putting stuff up. And that's kind of what we do around here. Muscatine sort of kind of does run over Thanksgiving a little bit because, and Megan's part of that, right? We kind of go into Christmas mode. So a couple quick things to remind you of. Remember, the first Friday, December 1st, will be Jingle and Mingle, the holiday stroll down here on 2nd Street. Got a bunch of cool stuff coming for you. That'll be 5:30 till 8. Of course, free as always. So come down and just have a blast. We'll have, of course, Christmas tree lighting to kick it off. And then we're actually going to get to close it down with the launch of the Bridge Light Show by Musco and MPW helping coordinate all that. So that'll be cool. All this same cool stuff in between. Crossroads will be there at the Winter Wonderland. A couple of cool new things coming as well, so keep your eye on that. Remember, the week before that, or the week of, is the toy drive for the Salvation Army out at Ed Morse. Joey Krieger and Tintera and those guys kind of head that all up, and then Freezing for Food will be the week after, which of course is our big food drive. I'll be out at the H&I truck at Hy-Vee all week, freezing my tush off. And don't worry, everybody. Yes, I'll be sending out an email to get volunteers to come help, probably today. So, Megan, there's going to be like a nice little slot there.
I'll be there.
I know. You always are. You always are. And that's the nice thing is I know no matter how crazy the project I have, there's a handful of people in this town that I know that they're going to help and support me no matter how crazy it is. Generally speaking, and Megan, you somehow ended up being one of those. I don't know how that, but in return though,
yes,
all of your crazy ideas automatically have our support.
Yes.
So it's kind of like a fair deal.
Yeah.
So if you would, for those that may not know who you are, give a quick introduction.
Sure.
And then there's so much senior resources, and actually don't think that you have to be a senior for this, because this is actually for the whole community. Mm-hmm. Lots of cool stuff coming up. So
yeah. So my name is Megan Francis, and I am the marketing director for Crossroads, which includes the programs of senior resources. So that group is sort of who I'm representing today. And as you were talking about us running over Thanksgiving, I think it's just that our community comes together so well to support people during the holidays, and that work needs to start early.
You're absolutely right.
So it's not as much running over Thanksgiving as it is really preparing to make sure that everybody in our community has a fantastic holiday.
You actually make a very good point there, and that is, we do, because the reason that the toy drive starts the Monday after Thanksgiving is because that then gives the Salvation Army time to prep everything, because it used to be that the toy drive was second. We would do the food drive first and then the toy drive. And then I don't know whose idea it was. It was a good idea, so I'm going to guess it was probably Joey Krieger, who said, hey, why don't we do the toys first so that we have more time. Because that takes more, I mean, because the food, you know, it's all in pallets. You just take it down, throw it in the thing, and it's ready to go, right?
Sure.
But, you know, they sort it by age and all this other stuff. So you're absolutely right. This community does come together. There's so much stuff. Of course, there's the Red Kettle campaign on top of it. You guys are adding in. What? Greg Bach, holy cow, coming in from Michigan.
Greg
What's
Bach.
up, bud? So now I feel like I need to bust out into 90s rap form or something. But no, we do. And that's a lot of the stuff you're talking about applies to like the senior side. But I think, again, to your point, every little niche kind of has a thing. And I think we've gotten good at like coordinating it all.
Yeah.
Like, for the most part, other than somebody stole my warmth, I'm actually going to have to freeze for food again. We'll talk about that in a minute.
We don't have time for that.
Oh, we do. We do. This is the great thing about it being my air. We've got all the time we need, Megan. No, but okay. So let's stop rambling for a moment and get to. Can we do the senior center first?
Yes.
Because I think it's the most important in some ways, but I honestly think it's like the coolest new thing.
Yeah. So this is actually kind of a spring project, but we are looking at the feasibility of starting a pilot senior activity center. So there are a lot of activities for active seniors throughout our community. They can go to the Y, there are card groups and some social groups, and as the dynamics of those groups change, there's two things. One, they start to lose members, or if someone is now moved to the area, or very commonly if they maybe lose a significant other and are now looking for ways to connect with the community, it can be very hard to find all those different groups and resources. And I get asked all the time, you know, is there a place that my mom or my dad can go to? Is there a place for seniors, specifically the age of 50 and older, to gather, both for activities, but then for, so you're giving me a very disconcerting look.
You just said 50 and older, and I'm like,
don't even talk about that side of it. I know.
I'm like, oh, that's like, I can see that
like
coming.
Very soon.
That's like,
I know. So really, I'm just setting this up for us,
folks,
Chris.
Yes, I know. That's what I was just going to say, folks. Let's
to
get this thing, because I guarantee you, in 6 years, you are going to want to not see me anymore. You're going to want to put me in that senior center and make them put up with me.
Pearl City Chiropractic says good morning.
Good morning. Hey,
Pearl
how's it
City
going?
Chiropractic.
Rock says love me some 90s rap and art.
Of course you do. Of course he loves 90s rap and art.
But so I get that question a lot. And Senior Resources has an adult day center, but that is focused a little bit more on cares. Our assisted living facilities do a great job of providing some activities. They're very open to anybody that wants to visit. And I know tons of people sit at coffee clubs at Hy-Vee and the different coffee shops. There are definitely gathering spots around town. But for someone looking to get connected who's not part of those, it can be hard to find those. So what the Senior Center idea is it's modeled a little bit off of KSI, which is out in Davenport, and it really is a centralized activity area for maybe some of those groups. If they lose their meeting spot, they could go there. For some low impact exercise, some social groups, coffee groups, card games, kind of a centralized hub that seniors can hang out and really have some organic crossover between these groups. You may go to your bridge group and you may go there, play your game of bridge, socialize with your good friends, and then you leave. You don't necessarily meet new people every time or cross over with any other activities. And that's what the thought is here. So people of similar age range getting together for activities throughout the day and really creating just that organic environment for socialization, which the benefits of socialization are pretty clear: fighting depression, anxiety, increasing self-esteem, not to mention just the basic health benefits of cognitive health,
Yep.
physical health, balance, all of those benefits come with both social and physical activity. So how this came about is I actually had a couple of community members, Sandy and Ed Lamp, who used to be snowbirds and travel to Florida and had a very active social life with that senior group, and they are not doing that anymore. And so they contacted Brett Olson with the Y and said, is there anything like this in town? And he said, well, we've got our activities, of course, and they've got fantastic activities, but not specifically with that focus. Ask Megan Francis. So we met up, and I introduced them to KSI. Then we started to look at some of the facilities around and decided that Muscatine has enough of a population. Our population for Muscatine County is 18% of our population is 65 and older. So if you take that to 50, that percentage grows. And
now here's the thing. Can you count guys that may be able to look like they're 50 if they're not, if they want to go play euchre? Like, do you think I could sneak in?
Right. Well, I will give a quick, since you brought up euchre, I will give just a quick plug then for the Manta Rays euchre tournament, which look at their website. I'm sure they've got somewhere. It's a fundraiser.
How did I not know about this?
I don't know, but
Jocelyn, you're on my list.
yeah, yep, euchre fundraiser. But right, games like that. So now I got lost.
You and the Lamps were
So
kind of casing the situation, so to speak.
Yep. So what we came up with is running a pilot program. First, we're doing a bit of a feasibility survey. So we've had surveys out around the community, and what I'm really here is to promote Wednesday, the 9th, this Wednesday, at Musserville Church. We'll just have 2 more informational sessions, so going over some of this, how did it come to be, what's the need in the community, and what does it look like? And then a chance to have that conversation, see what people are looking for. And those will be at 9 a.m. and 2 p.m.
Okay.
And Musserville Church is the one right across from the Salvation Army, down on Oregon. So those informational sessions, we do have some questionnaires that have been going out through the community just to see. Like, I know that I've had the question asked of me a few times, and Ed and Sandy has had people say that they'd want to go, but until we really get some facts, it's hard to support. And then the thought is we would start 2 days a week in the spring on a Monday and a Wednesday, and once we get people there, we see what people are liking, we can grow. One of the keys to this model is that the classes are very volunteer run, which for anyone who deals with volunteers, sometimes you get a lot of people willing to volunteer until it's the day to volunteer, and then life gets in the way. And that's not to say that would happen, but it just, it takes some work to make sure that we've got all the pieces in
And you always
place.
have to plan for a couple extra. So like if you think you need 5, you should really probably get 7 or 8 and you're good.
Yep, life happens, it does.
And I think, the one thing that I've had a little bit of experience kind of adjacent to like a senior center type of thing. And the one thing that I think is kind of key there is like getting it going. Because once you get it going and you get those, because there's people who maybe had leadership roles in their careers and all these other things who, they don't want to go full bore anymore, but maybe they take on this little project or whatever. And so if you can kind of get it up and running, I think oftentimes it can be self-sustaining, with a little bit of help and guidance, of course. I mean, like, it's not going to just pilot itself forever, but you can like engage people at the level they want to be at because they've got time, they've got, and a lot of that stuff isn't heavy lifting, so to speak. So I'm super excited about it, and especially now that you've pointed out to me that this is maybe closer than I want to admit.
I know.
But it's very much a thing that this community needs and can handle, right? Like,
and I just had a really good point, and it just
we're like
flew
reverse.
right.
That's normally
I
me.
know.
That's
it just
totally
flew
normally
right
me.
Out of my mind.
But basically, we need to make sure that they get there to those meetings. If it's something that you think that you might even remotely be interested in, either as a volunteer participating, next Wednesday the 9th.
Yeah,
right?
even if you have a family member, mom, dad, aunt, uncle, that you're like, they do spend a lot of time in front of the TV or have lost interest in doing things, come and find out what this could look like, or share what people may be looking for. That's the other really important side, is that we see that, as we start off with this plan, what are people looking for? The other important thing that I wanted to state is that we are not looking to recreate anything.
Right.
We're looking to fill the gaps. So all of those great organizations that I mentioned before, the Y, definitely, they have the pool, they have Zumba, they have some of the other options.
Pickleball, apparently pickleball's a thing.
Pickleball, I think Wesley offers pickleball, but we would have a centralized place that all of that could be. So maybe you do come for coffee in a card group, and then you see this board, and that's a way for you to get connected.
Because, we do have a lot of great programs that exist, and they don't need to be messed with. And I don't mean that from I just mean they're doing their thing, and they may not provide 100% of what we need, but they're providing a really big chunk of it, right? So what I always think about is if you can add that little piece in the middle, and then just have the little spokes that go out to each one wherever it is, and just kind of connect them. But just as importantly as that being the hub, letting people pass through from one to the other, right? So, you can get information about the WISE programs at the senior center, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of this cross-promotional double bonus sort of thing. And you guys, in every, and I don't even know, when I say you guys, I don't even know who I mean, but all of the nonprofit groups that work together, right, have done this really good job of figuring out how that model can actually benefit them. And then how do we implement it in this instance? So it's fun to watch.
And that's part of the slow ramp up, and what we're looking into also is that I don't want to duplicate any service. So the library has some fantastic book clubs. We don't want to do the same genres or the same, but if there's a piece that they're missing, is that what we're offering? And then leading everybody to their book club. So those, how do we make sure that we're just filling the gap and bringing people the resources they need?
And I think the only way to do that is to just start. You can sit here and because I've done it, you can look at all the stuff going, you can go, well, we could do this. And you get analysis paralysis. And because again, there's a lot, so you just start going. And as long as you're communicating with those programs all the way through and going, hey, we're going to start rolling. Here's our goal. Yep, you're on board, everybody. And if something seems weird, something looks good, let us know either way, and we'll just adjust. So
awesome. I definitely decided we're kicking off with bingo because
of course
bingo brings everybody.
It does. Ask the county fair
right
folks.
And then we'll make sure that all the other bingo dates are out there.
So you got that gambling license.
Right.
Okay, so that's
Wednesday,
the senior center idea.
Wednesday informational meeting at Messerville Church, 9 a.m. or 2 p.m. Same presentation both times, so one or the other.
Half hour, 45 minutes?
About a half hour, and then we're gonna ask anybody who's interested in volunteering to stay another 15, 20 minutes so we can get their info, see what specialties they can bring, what level they'd be interested. We're gonna need people that maybe just greet and just open the door. Sorry, there's something flying in my face. To leading classes or leading a card group. So that extra 15 minutes will just be, what can you do to volunteer and get your info? So
awesome.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing. That's one out of the 6 things
I know,
we got to talk about.
I've got 3 more things. They're a little bit shorter. That was the big one.
That is the big one. Absolutely. That's the tail end one's a big one too.
Okay.
But.
So heading into winter.
Yes.
We're ready. So another one, not holiday specific, but definitely winter specific. We are looking for chore workers to help with our snow removal for senior homeowners. So it can be dangerous to get out there and shovel snow. All of us who have done it and feel our back after and are ugh, or have fallen. And I still get up pretty good, but I know at one point I won't. So it can be dangerous. So we provide snow removal for seniors in town who maybe can't pay for a full-blown service to come to their house or maybe on Medicaid. And that's something that they can get covered. So $15 an hour. And You can, when you get signed up, you can like pick a general area and be like, hey, can I get a couple of houses on Mulberry or,
Right.
On this side of Mulberry. And John, who's our coordinator, does a great job of helping people centralize so that we can use your time. He doesn't just throw you at addresses all the way across town or anything like that. You can do it at any time within, I think it's 48 hours after a snow event of 2 inches or more. So you're not going out there every day. And then you can do it on your own time. So it's a great supplemental. Someone, looking for a little extra cash or.
It also works great. I guess I should maybe say this is how it worked back in my day. Something that worked well is like my dad and I kind of did it together.
Yeah.
And we because he would have the snow blower, we'd throw it on the back of the truck because Tom Miller had gotten us into it, just helping people out, whatever.
Yeah.
Because Dad would go around and do it anyway. So, I'd have the shovel and I'd go do the little stuff, and Dad would do the big part with the blower, and away we went.
Yeah. You can also do it as a volunteer. We have a couple of families who volunteer. They take 1 or 2 homes and help out. Silver cord hours. So for our teams and groups that are looking for silver cord hours, we can do that as well. So we have about 54 people on our waiting list. Of course, we haven't had the snowfall yet, and some get something in place by a neighbor or a family friend who decides to help them out. Others don't think about it until the snow falls. So then that wait list will change a little bit. But call Senior Resources, talk to John or Laura, and find out about how to become a chore worker.
Okay.
And then our last 2 are holiday specific. So we have a senior Christmas gift basket program. We have low-income seniors throughout the community who basically have filled out a wish list, very much like the kids' angel tree that we see specifically to our senior population. And there are 2 ways that you can get involved in that. One, you can call up Senior Resources and adopt a senior. So you'll get that specific wish list. You can then go out and shop and get items to put together a basket. I think we're asking for all the baskets to be in the 2nd week of December. And we can deliver them, or you can deliver them yourself. And Laura Vargas is the contact for that. And then the second one is the Stuff the Stocking Challenge. So this is an offshoot of the Adopt a Senior program. And we found a couple of years ago that we just needed some help filling in some of the baskets maybe, or for some of the people who do not get adopted. So one of the bars actually threw out a challenge to the other bars 2 years ago and said, I challenge you guys to collect these items for our seniors. And we created the Stuff the Stocking Challenge, which I usually say it wrong, so I had to write it down and look at it.
How do you say that wrong?
Stock the stuffing. If I say
What's
really
funny?
fast,
I actually wrote it that way. I started writing it that way as we were getting the
and
thing.
then I'm like, no, Stuff the Stocking. So the first year, the headquarters was the winner. The last year, Maxwell's threw a little wrench in there, and they took home so they've got a plaque that they were the 2022.
I remember they stopped in afterwards.
I am going to give a lot of props, though, to the Brew, because 2 years in a row, they have been really consistent, and they have just a great support system out there. So Maxwell's and the Brew are both in, but we're looking for a few more challengers. It can be any organization, any business. It can even be a church group or any service group that wants to take the challenge. It's November 17th to December 3rd. Then we count up the items, and the organization with the most items will get a plaque and award for the Stocking Stuffer Award. I know.
Yes. No, it's. I'm just trying to think of how many.
Not the Stuffing Stocker Award.
I'm just trying to think of how many other S words we might. The sensational.
For seniors.
Yes.
Yeah,
we're just going to leave it at that.
So both of those are on our Facebook. The challenge is going out today. Adopt a Senior's been out for a week or so. But you can get in contact with me or Senior Resources, Laura Vargas, and get involved in either way. So some people like that personal, I want to shop for one person, or maybe they just don't have a bigger group to do a big We will also just take donations
Yep.
of items, but this is sort of a way to create a fun challenge out of collecting great gifts for our seniors.
Holy cow, you're busy.
I know.
And if that wasn't enough, we have to talk about stealing someone's warmth. So
I'm giving warmth to all these people. Let's just remember that piece first.
yes, but
Warmth
but
for the
here's
holidays
the
for our
thing.
seniors.
Yeah. Well, yeah. No. No. Yes, of course. Yes. No. So the other cool thing that you have going on is actually sort of in a way already started, right?
Yep,
Like you've been.
it's up.
Is iLLUMINATE.
Yeah.
So real quick, give everybody a quick overview of iLLUMINATE, and then we're gonna talk about how you're gonna make me freeze.
Yeah. So iLLUMINATE is a nightly drive-through light show at Weed Park from Thanksgiving night to New Year's Eve. And from 5:30 to 8:30 for donations, a suggested donation of $10 per car. And the important thing is, the reason we chose this event is because holiday lights are something that everybody can enjoy together. So you can get grandma, even if she's got some sort of cognitive issues, to the youngest person in your family together in a car, and it just brings people together. Christmas lights bring joy, but with iLLUMINATE, it's also illuminating the need for choice and inclusion for people with disabilities and seniors in our community. So we wanted them to be included in a holiday event. And as much as I love the stroll, it can be busy, and it's walking all the way down the street, right? So definitely a fantastic event for the family to come out to, but there are some people that's not the best event. So this is just a flip side of it, that is an inclusive event, and really highlighting choice and inclusion for our population, raising some funds. It's an important fundraiser for us. And also to illuminate the work that our direct support professionals do for people with disabilities in our community, which is just a huge point of advocacy that our organization is focused on.
Absolutely, it's awesome. I've seen, luckily I've gotten to see like some of the stuff that's coming, and like it's gonna be cool. Like,
Nightly Volunteers is coming.
Yes. So now here's where the critical part comes in, because we all know it's all about Chris, right? So as we've done freezing for food, the many first years we did it, we literally froze out there. And then last year, Matt Schweitzer from Hy-Vee was kind enough to let us use his immunization trailer as like a home base, so that volunteers could go and warm up and whatever. And it was nice because I'll admit I'm out there all week. It's kind of a nice little thing. Now Matt's on the board of Crossroads, and Matt.
Love you, Matt.
I may have been at his house briefly last night picking up my son and let him know about this too, but he just needs two. See, here's the thing. So he says, and I will say I fully support this. He's going to have the trailer out there for the volunteers all month, right? Which again, obviously a bunch of volunteers versus Chris for a week, obviously. I want it to be out there. But I think he owes me a heated vest. I think that's what it is, right? But it's a great way to show people what really exists out there, right? Like, not everybody can do the stroll. Not everybody can do whatever. And this is something literally, we've even talked like towards the end, being able to do a video version of it for those that even can't get out, right? Because we do know that like Christmas lights, and we talk about this when we talk about planning the stroll, and I know we've talked about this when you brought this up. It's things that trigger memories, right? Whether it's the smell of, peanut brittle, or, a certain Christmas decoration that you get out. They trigger those memories. And, especially in like senior populations and those with disabilities, those memories can be, I'm going to say life-changing. I'm not quite sure how to word this, but those memories are things that are amplified. Like the positivity of them can be even, like like I get a warm fuzzy when I do Christmas stuff. For them, it's like 10 times, right? It can be. So
it's really about creating that moment of joy that will last longer than the 20 minutes that you're at the lights.
Listen to you putting words to what I was trying to say. Look at you.
It will carry on beyond just that 20-minute drive through. And it does. I had a family once who was working through their father in the early stages of dementia. And she said to me, I realized that I need to get into his world. And that it's not about bringing him back to mine or understanding mine. I have to join his world. And this is a way that you can find that common world. And I just got a little bit of goosebumps from that. Every time I tell that story, I get goosebumps because it was pretty profound when she made that switch and realized and this is a new way. We
had something similar, and anytime we talk about something like this, I always plug a book that Miss read shortly after Ainsley was born called Roadmap to Holland, right? And basically the concept is like very much that of, maybe you'd always dreamed of going to Paris for your vacation and the plane gets detoured and you end up in Holland. Well, Holland's not bad, it just wasn't Paris, right? And it's being the parent of a child with a disability, you don't love them any less, but it is different, right? Because it wasn't your expectation. And so you have to change your whole perspective, and it's hard, and there's grief that goes with it, and we've talked that can be whether you have a child who's 40 with a disability or whether it's a parent who's starting to face dementia, it's those things that change your expectations, and for whatever reason you had those expectations, whether they were valid or not, or whatever, we all have just these sort of things that are like, oh, this is how we think life's going to go.
Sure.
And when you change those for whatever reason, you've got to restructure. And I love the way she describes that, because it's very much about going into that world and you don't have to leave the other world behind, right? Like you just figure out how to go, okay, this isn't what I sort of thought was going to happen, but man, it's kind of cool in this world, because one thing I know, I've experienced a couple of folks with dementia and also disabilities. If you take a step into that world, it can be so simple and so joyful and so in the moment that when you step back into the real world, you go, man, I need more of that, right? So that's my little goosey bump thing, but
good way to start off a Monday.
Yeah, it is. Just remember what life's really about, right? And that's why I love Megan Mondays, because they keep everybody grounded a little bit. We all have stuff that's seems like a big deal and things like that, but really at the end of the day, it's about basic needs. It's about connecting. It's about having a tribe, like the senior center. It's about, those are the things that matter, right? All the other stuff will come and go, and you can build off of that into the other things. So, wow, that we got serious there, folks. Sorry, that's like a super serious Muscatine Today Show there for a moment. But thank you for everything you do and the Crossroads Senior Resources team, because it's not just Megan. Obviously you're the one that everybody sees. But there is a whole, I don't even know how, there's 7,000 people that work at Crossroads, and maybe not that many.
We've got over 100 employees. We are growing
it's a ton.
Yeah,
it's a ton. It's an awesome organization that touches a lot of people. And so anything you guys can do to help out would be greatly appreciated, I know. And if nothing else, go see the lights, do a little bit of stuffing of the stocking. Look at that, get that. If you see, here's the thing. If you say stuffing of the stocking, see there is, because then you get ing on both, and that.
Stocking of the stuffing. As soon as you get, I start with stock, and
now
then
I'm going to say it wrong
to
again.
Stuff, I'm
going to get it wrong
dang
again. Dang it.
I did it wrong again.
So real quick recap.
Senior Center meeting, Wednesday, Messerville Church, 9 a.m. or 2 p.m. You don't need to go to both. You're welcome to both, but you don't need to go. Chore workers to help with snow removal, $15 an hour, call Senior Resources, and then adopt a senior or the Stuff the Stocking Challenge.
Yep. And for any of this, just go to the Senior Resources website, Facebook, call them, email them, whatever. Whoever picks up the phone is going to get you where you need to go.
Yep.
It's pretty easy.
Yep.
So Megan, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for letting me taking a lot of your
no, it
morning.
was fun. Hey, you know what? When you got a lot to cover, you got a lot to cover.
Yeah,
It's just what
yeah.
it is. And we will be right back with Todd Bartosh from Muddy Boyz Detailing, talking about, obviously it's winter, it's going to be messy, and some cool stuff that you can do and things they do to help protect your car this winter. So we will be right back.
From a clogged toilet to a complete sewer line replacement, Rivo is a modern plumbing company designed to respond quickly to all shapes and sizes of plumbing needs. Bringing in our heavy equipment to replace cracked gas lines or designing clever piping systems for new construction plumbing, a family-owned company that's reliably honest and remarkably affordable. Right here in Muscatine, all day long, every day of the week. Rivo Incorporated, skill, knowledge, and tools to solve the messiest problems.
Did we mention quality matters?
Welcome to our Cut Quality Center. Let's take a closer look.
Our mowers provide superior
Laser precision cut quality.
for a perfectly manicured lawn.
Let's break this down in science terms. This grass is cut good. This grass is cut not as good.
Hustler Turf. Mow like a pro.
Stop in to Muscatine Lawn and Power at 2020 Stewart Road to see Hustler quality for yourself.
Rivo, the plumbing experts for Muscatine and surrounding areas, has moved. Our new location at 1109 Grandview Avenue offers spacious parking and a large open showroom. Employing experienced plumbers and carpenters, we specialize in remodeling entire bathrooms and kitchens. Imagine the possibilities. Stylish new faucets, sinks, shower units, bathtubs, and more, along with tankless water heaters and gas fireplaces. We also provide complete residential and commercial plumbing services. Rivo Incorporated. Call us for your next remodel.
It's time for an update from the Not So Late Show with Austin, brought to you by Unity Point Health.
Listen up, everyone. I've got some news. Things are still kind of crazy out there, and the pandemic is still going on. And it's hard to keep people healthy. And right now, things are really tough for healthcare workers. There are a lot of people needing help with their health. They're working very hard. They're tired. And they are working extra shifts. Well, that would be like when you just get right out of school. You have to go back and do it all over again. Ugh. So there's something you need to know. It's time to be kind. Healthcare workers are doing the best they can to help you. They just need your help too. Take care of yourself however you can with your vaccinations and your healthy habits. But if you get sick, go see your doctor. If you have to wait, be patient. Be a patient. They're real
Welcome
people,
back,
just like
and
you.
I'm going to,
and do you know why they're working so hard?
Put a caveat
For you.
on this next segment.
So show them a little love, or at least a little bit of kindness.
Welcome back. I'm going to put a caveat on this next segment. When Todd and I were talking, and he said he could bring props, I didn't realize that I was going to have to specify no number 3. So for those of you that are out there in my family that may be, rolling over in your chair right now because there's a number 3 thing, it wasn't me. I didn't do it. He did it on his own. No. So Todd, if you would, so you're from Muddy Boyz Detailing.
Correct.
Up in Wilton.
Correct.
If you could introduce yourself and let everybody kind of know a little bit about what you do overall.
Okay.
And then we'll dive into kind of like what people can expect like this winter and things they can do, and then, actually a really cool demo on how it all works.
Yeah, so I'm Todd Bartosh from Muddy Boyz Detailing up in Wilton. We've been in Wilton for 5 years. I've been doing this full-time for that 5 years. Before that, I was kind of doing it part-time for about 4 or 5 years before that. So the business itself has been around for almost 10 years. Gotcha. Started detailing just before that, over 10 years ago, up in northern Iowa. I had a choice between car detailing or going in the sand mines. So I chose auto detailing.
Yeah, I probably would too.
And that just drove my passion for cars, found something I was really good at that combined with my passion. So when I left the dealership, I was like, you know what, why not go do this for myself and take care of customers. Customer service I'm big on because I grew up around it. So it was a way to combine everything that I had passion in for and that I was good with, that I enjoyed. So it was a way to combine everything to be able to do that. And then I met my wife, 2015, and she kind of pushed me to do it more on my own too. And she kind of helped finance some of the stuff to get me going more. And here we are, almost 10 years later and still rocking and rolling. So
that's awesome. And that's, it just goes to show, and I'm gonna switch over into my Chris, the marketing guy hat real quick here, and just kind of remind everybody, if you have an idea and if you want to get started, just start, right? It doesn't have to be this huge, big, thing to start a business. Just start, and Todd, I don't know your story well, but I'm gonna guess you started, it was like a side hustle, right? And you just kind of did it for a couple of friends and stuff here and there, and then it sort of grows a little bit. And I'm just, again, one of my soapboxes, if you're out there and you have one of those ideas, just start. Get off the couch, go do something, start. Would you agree?
Yeah, and that's exactly how it was, because like I said before, I was doing it part-time on the side for about 4 years. Well, then we had our last child, 2018, so she'll be 6 this March. Shortly after she was born, it was one of those decisions, hey, we're either going to do this full time or we're going to pack it up, because the time and energy we were already putting in it didn't make sense to do it full time. And we found a location up in Wilton. So happens that our daughter ended up going to daycare up in Wilton, so it all worked out. And then it's a little different now because she's in school out at L&M, but
that's a trip.
Yeah, along with the rest of our kids, because we actually live in Grandview. So it's a little bit different, but we're so established up there. We have a great loyalty with our customer base, so we just stayed.
Yeah, totally makes sense.
And the community of Wilton's real supportive. It's a great small community, and it reminds me of where I grew up. So
it works.
It's kind of why not. So
yeah. So what all do you guys, detailing, and this is what's, I worked at a dealership and actually in the detail shop for a while in college, and I don't know that people always get the actual, there's the obvious, oh, my car's cleaner, right?
Yep.
But when you get into actually truly detailing a car, the car will last longer. You're getting all the stuff out of the cracks, crevices, preventing rust and all that sort of stuff. And so if you had one or two pieces of advice to give people as we go into winter here, which obviously is salt, slush, mess, what would maybe be one or two pieces of advice you'd give people for taking care of their car?
So what we usually do is, our advice is try to get it done about every 6 months. Usually that's right before winter and coming out of winter, because we all, we live in Iowa. We have the snow, we have all the crud that we gather on our shoes, and it builds up in that carpet. And what we do is we actually help clean that carpet up, the plastic, all of the abuse that it's gotten all winter. That's one of our things is, try to do it before and after winter, especially the interior, because summer, you're not exposed to as much, maybe sand, things like that if you go to baseball diamonds or the beach or whatever. But winter's the hardest.
Yeah, you're bringing, there's salt, there's cinder, there's sand, there's you name it out there, and whatever then also was in the snow when it got pushed out from rocks.
Correct.
You end up with just everything.
Yep, and then that's when by maintaining it, and that's another thing, is the maintenance of your vehicle is not just so much the mechanical maintenance, it's the exterior maintenance, the interior maintenance. It's gonna help that plastic, that fabric last longer and not break down, so that way that investment you're making on that vehicle, because they're not cheap nowadays, it's gonna protect that investment of your vehicle.
Well, and so let's talk about and I don't know, Chris, and I know you've kind of got a camera set up for this. I don't know if you can tell the difference on camera between these two die-cast cars here, but there's a ridiculous difference between these two.
Yes, and these actually sit on, so I apologize for the number 3.
No, that's all right. No, it's
so
my father-in-law was a big Jeff Gordon fan.
Okay.
And so
yeah, and I was in the National Guard, so Dale Jr. became one of my favorite, and obviously, everybody collects Dale Earnhardt. So
yeah.
These actually sit on the shelf right next to each other.
Okay.
The black one here has been ceramic coated. I kind of did it as a thing to show. I think it was my nephew or another guy that was working for me at the time helped me out. I showed him just the process of how the coating goes on, and I did this, and this one sits right next to it, and there's a substantial dust collection.
Yeah, like you can see, like I don't know if you can,
Yep.
Chris, I don't know if they can quite see this, but like when I do this, like you could literally like write in it.
Yep.
And like, okay, that's actually, you know what? This is super funny. This was not on the car. My truck, there's a couple little chunks in the beds, rubber bed liner.
Yep.
And I had some, so I sprayed some on this morning. So that's actually bed liner. It doesn't protect against that. Holy cow. So what did you do to that car to make it look like that?
So right here we got just an example of what the ceramic coating comes in, which is just a glass vial. It's about a 30 to 50 ml, I believe.
Okay.
And we just put it on an applicator pad similar to this. It's dual-sided, so if we're putting 2 coats on, we can start on one side, slip to the other, because there is a barrier so it doesn't go all the way through. So we just put a couple dabs on here. We'll put it on, on a car, we'll put it on, and then we sit and wait, and it'll do a flash process, which kind of gives a rainbow effect to the chemical. And then that's when we know it's time to kind of what we call wipe off or / buff off, and level it out with a clean microfiber rag. And then it cures for so long. So on average, it's about 12-hour cure process before it can get wet. Just to make sure that it's cured properly. We do have a coating that it can get wet within 2 hours. You just can't wash it for about a week to 2 weeks after the coating, so that it's fully cured in that process. It doesn't take a lot, heat obviously can, if had heat lamps, it would speed that cure process up, but we just let it naturally cure the way that it's supposed to. So that's all we did to this, and there's a substantial difference, and it's gonna bead water off. It's gonna make sure that it's not getting ruined by anything that gets spilled on it.
Well, and I, again, going back to my days, ceramic wasn't around way back then because I'm old, as Megan pointed out earlier in the show, in case you missed it. But the ceramic thing has been coming in the auto industry for a while.
Yep, I would say about the last 10, 15 years, it's been slowly coming on, but it's picked up a lot of traction in the last 5, 6 years.
Yep. To whether you can even see like car washes will have like what I would call like a light version of a ceramic coating, like nothing like this, right?
Correct.
But like you'll see it like as a selling point, right?
Yep.
And it does like legitimately, think about like anything that you can think of that has a ceramic coating, imagine just like putting that on your car, right?
Yep.
And what I always think about is I'm a big fan of Rain-X on windshields, okay? Think of it like Rain-X for the whole car, sort of, right? Like from the beating up process.
Yeah, and to speak on that point, we can actually ceramic coat the windows too.
Yeah, it'd make life a lot easier.
Yeah, it does. And we've actually had customers come back that have drove in the rain all the way from Hannibal, Missouri, and only had to use their wipers once.
Yep.
And that it just beat it off. We actually used to live in Cedar Rapids, and we took a similar product that enhanced the ceramic coating when we put it on my wife's windshield during the winter driving to and from Muscatine and Cedar Rapids, and she said it made the drive so much easier during the winter because she didn't have to use the wipers. So there are benefits, and then when we do that, we polish the glass with a special glass polish. And my wife has I've never driven a vehicle with the glass ceramic coated. My wife has, and she said it is a night and day difference on the clarity and the visibility that you have. And just even, I try and kind of connect these things to
things that like just I experience in a regular day. And yesterday, Miss, my wife, took her car over and got it washed when she got some gas, whatever. And she just went through like the Casey's wash, and she got back and there was still, so like your wipers go like this. Well, like, I guess, there's still like that area up here that, there's always just like the layers of coating and stuff like that you've got to go back and literally clean off by hand, right? Because it's thick enough. It doesn't matter how hard of a jet you spray at it.
Oh yeah.
You've got to get it off. And what I love about this kind of stuff is, you've gotten all that off, right?
Yep.
And then when you put this on, it makes it easier to come off, right?
It does. And just on that note, and most of the time it's bugs or stuff in those areas that makes it hard to clean, because it doesn't seem like there's enough pressure there to clean them off in those outside areas, which this will help with that. And on that note, I have a 2021 Harley Davidson motorcycle I've put about 23,000 miles on, and it still has no bug etchings in the paint from being ceramic coated. So if it's going to prevent the bugs from etching and staining the paint, it's going to definitely keep that windshield, make it easier. And it's going to allow, if you go through a touchless wash, it's definitely going to improve the ability for those touchless washes to do, because it doesn't have the pads to agitate the stuff. So that's a benefit of that, because I know a lot of our customers don't like the touch or the brushes because it scratches the paint over time, and so this increases the ability for those touchless washes to do the job properly.
Okay, so if somebody's going, okay, it's that time, it's need to get my car done, what's the best way to contact you guys?
They can either call us on my phone number that's listed with our business. They can email us, or they can get a hold of us on Facebook. Facebook is actually our biggest way of getting customers.
And we'll make sure that we've got some links and stuff to it.
Yeah, and so we check it. Me and my wife both have access to the response on the Facebook page. We usually respond, as soon as we see it. Sometimes Facebook kind of slacks and drags.
You don't always see it right away.
We don't get the notification right away, but as soon as we see it, we do respond right away. And we get things scheduled, answer questions like, what does it cost? What's the process that we do? And those are the number one questions that we get: the cost, the process, and what do we all do? What do we include? Because there are certain companies that do detailing that don't do certain things that others do, or they do them, but they want to charge more. My whole fundamental and our thought process with us is, I'm going to do everything that to the best of my ability and within reason to make your vehicle look right, send it out looking good, and recondition to the best possible standard at the best possible price point that we can make it. Because we have customers that are single moms, blue collar or middle class working families. We don't have, we're out in Wilton, we're in a farm community, and even in Muscatine, it's, we're not in like Chicago or Cedar Rapids or some of these bigger towns. And I mean, Cedar Rapids isn't as big as Chicago, but the price difference there to here is still crazy. Is still a substantial point. So we keep ours in a kind of a happy medium place, so everybody can afford it. So a full detail for us is we do the carpets, the seats. If they're leather, we put a leather conditioner on them, which has built-in UV protectant rays to help protect the leather. Clean all the plastic, get underneath the seats. We don't have to take the seats out because we have enough tools to get underneath them properly. Shampoo the carpets, do the seats, get all the cracks, crevices, and we put a protectant or like a coating dressing type thing on the plastic, but we wipe it down so it doesn't leave that real oily film.
Yeah, the classic Armor All feel.
Yeah, so it doesn't leave that film.
Oh, just slime. Oh, I flashbacks.
Yeah.
Megan brought us all the happy flashbacks. You just brought me the Armor All. On
Yeah,
the
and that's the thing
I
is
hated that.
everybody's like, oh, just Armor All.
No.
So if you think back to the early 90s, late 80s, all the cracked dashboards and all the that was because of Armor All. A lot of it is because those types of solvents dry out the plastic. They don't actually protect it. They end up drying it out over time. Plastic dries out, it cracks.
Yep.
Ours, it helps, it almost puts a protecting coating over the plastic. I go down to the river a lot. I use my foot to open the door. The dirt wipes right off. It doesn't leave the stains. It doesn't stain into the plastic. So it makes it easier to clean it. And we have repeat customers that are either construction trucks, contractor trucks that come in about once or twice a year to get detailed. They're easier and easier every time because of our process. So initially it might take a little bit to get them done because we're fighting through all that dirt and stuff that they get exposed to on the job site. Over time it gets easier. So we do all that, and then on the outside we prep it with a iron remover, which breaks down all the iron deposits on the outside of the vehicle. It's a cool process. It goes on green, and as it comes in contact with the iron deposit, it turns purple.
Really?
And it breaks it down, so it helps the claying process to clean off all the contaminants off easier. So then we'll soap it or rinse that off, put soap on, we clay it, and then we go in the rest of the process. So,
okay, folks, you don't need all the details of this. Just know the fact that he said they clay it. That's all you need to know. This guy knows what he's doing. He knows what he's talking about, and you'll be happy with his results. Just that one thing alone. There's every business. There's something that if they know that, they're good. Claying it is.
Yeah, and we clay when we do the outside detail. Every vehicle gets clayed. It's not a step that we
gotcha.
that we skip. It's automatically included.
A big difference. Yeah.
We don't charge extra for it. There are places, if we clay it, we gotta charge extra. It literally takes, depending on the size of the vehicle, depending on how much what we call rail dust, the little rust specks on the outside of the cars, things like that. It depends on how bad that is. It really depends on how much time it takes. But I think the longest I've had one take is like 10-15 minutes, and that was on a full-size 2500 truck.
Yeah.
That was a pearl white, so it's going to show
extremely
everything.
noticeable. Yeah.
So there's things that we don't skip out on because it's our reputation. And I believe in quality, and we want to give out the best product that we can to our customers and treat it like it's our own vehicle because it is an investment on the product or the vehicle that they are spending.
Even if it's a Dale car, they're going to treat it right. So, Chris, can they see, can you tell how shiny this is compared to the other one? I'm not quite sure if you can, but I mean, it's ridiculous. I hope it shows, because here, it's ridiculously different. And again, just in my own experience, this is, it's kind of a no-brainer, right?
Yeah, and this is not going to be as shiny because it's a brushed aluminum, but it still shows. Yeah, but it still does have
the finish,
a finish to it.
Yep.
But the ceramic is going to enhance that gloss behind that paint. It's going to add depth to the paint, and it's going to be for years to come. A lot of people will be like, "Oh, we'll just get the ceramic at the store, just do the car wash." Well, a lot of those ceramic coatings, they only have to have a certain percentage of ceramic in it to be classified a ceramic coating, which is kind of misleading to the general public consumer. Ours is a SiO2 based ceramic coating. They're all designed and engineered to be chemically resistant to a level that those other ceramic coatings are not. It's all put on by hand. We do a paint correction, which is a buff and polish to the paint before to get as many of the imperfections of the paint out as we can. And then we go into our coating process to apply the coating. So that way there's no, and then we paint prep it before that. So what paint prep process is we're taking all the residue off from the compounds that we use, and then we put the ceramic coating on, so that way it's actually bonding straight to the paint. There's nothing in between the paint and the ceramic coating. And then it's gonna last, like this one here, up to 3 years if it's properly maintained. We were working with one that was up to 7 years if properly maintained, which just, you know, washing it and doing a maintenance wash on it, which right now, to celebrate our 5-year anniversary out in Wilton, we're running deals on our ceramic coating packages right now. Within that package, we're offering through the winter months a free monthly maintenance wash, where if you bring it in, we'll do the maintenance wash for you to help improve the quality through the winter of the ceramic coating.
That's awesome.
Because the ceramic coating has pores. Once they get clogged, you'll see it not work as well. But as soon as we do a maintenance wash on it, a decon to it, you'll see the hydrophobic properties come right back.
That's awesome.
You know, and it's going to be a little different because we travel during the winter too, because we do agricultural ceramic coating, which is a new part that we've grown into in the last 2 years to expand our business. We travel all over. We go to Missouri, Illinois, Minnesota, Western Iowa. We've been over there a couple times this summer, and the night and day difference when we do agriculture equipment is
I'm sure,
just phenomenal. We've brought tractors that are 50 years old back, make them look just as good as they did when they were new.
Wow.
And it's, you know, ceramic coating can work on tractors. Just imagine what it's going to do to a car.
Again, and I try and sum things up in once. If you care about your vehicle in any way, shape, or form, if you like your car in any way, just do it. Just give them a call, swing out, have them do it. You won't regret it, right?
No, you won't regret it. Like, I have my 91 Mustang. It's ceramic coated. Unfortunately, it doesn't always get to sit in the shop during the winter, because as soon as the ice hits, it doesn't go nowhere. It takes about 5 people to move it in because of the torque that the vehicle has. It just wants to go side to side. So it's unfortunately sat outside during winter once or twice since it's been ceramic coated, and it has not compromised the ceramic coating at all.
That's awesome.
We get great feedback from the customers when they have their vehicles done, and it does add value back to your vehicle because it maintains it, makes it look great, and that's the big thing, is if you can get your return on investment of it, it will reward you in the end.
Awesome.
So on average, our 3-year coating right now for our deal is about $700, and our 5-year coating right now is about $1,200. And that's, doesn't matter if it's a car, truck, that's a set price. And that includes, like I said, the paint correction, the buff and polish. We'll polish the glass, coat the glass. And then the nice thing too is we can coat the plastic trim on the vehicle. So everybody knows the plastic trim likes to fade.
It's the first thing that goes.
It's the first thing that goes, and it will help protect that and prevent the dirt from actually settling and staining into the plastic. So it's going to keep it looking new for some time to come. Every plastic's different, so we can't tell you how long it's going to last, but it will last longer than the back to black that you're going to buy at the store.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
That maybe lasts 2 or 3 washes.
Awesome.
So it is definitely an investment, but it is an investment worth it if you like to take care of your vehicle and like it to look good. And why not protect an investment that you're spending? You know, nowadays, even a used car's easily $15,000-$20,000.
Yep.
I mean, why not protect the investment that you're spending that kind of money on?
Awesome. Well, first of all, great info. Like, seriously, people, you just got 101 for ceramics, and you didn't even know you were getting it. But the other thing is, congratulations on the 5 years. That's awesome. And so, again, folks, we'll make sure that we've got contact info and stuff in the posts and in the comments. So thanks for stopping in.
Thank you for having us.
Even though Tom, you know, it wasn't my idea. No. But it was great. It's great to see small businesses that find that niche and can really just thrive in it. So
yeah, and that's been a blessing. I don't take it for granted by no means, because when COVID hit, we really thought we were gonna possibly have to close the doors because, you know, we see what's going on with everything else. And actually, we got busier during COVID. Part of that was because no one could go on vacation. Everybody had a little bit extra income to take care of their stuff and do the stuff that they've been putting off. And if it's something that you've been debating, whether it's a ceramic coating or just getting the detail done, if it's something that you've been debating, just go ahead and get it done. It's, you know, it's part of your maintenance vehicle, or the maintenance of your vehicle. So, you know, we try to get everybody's cars in and out the same day. The only time that doesn't work is, you know, if the fabric takes a little bit longer to dry.
But you guys can plan that with people, and
and we're flexible with everybody. We have key drop off, so if people have to drop off before we open, we're flexible with that. If people end up having an emergency come up, we've actually, last summer we had a customer, her son was help clean fish and slit his hand open and had to rush to the hospital. They had to come pick the vehicle up in the middle of the detail. And I was like, yeah, go ahead, take it. I says, just get back, you know, just get a hold of us when we can get it back in, and we'll finish it up. If we have to redo some stuff, we have to redo some stuff. It's part of life. I mean, I have 4 kids, so I'm flexible with everybody's life. Things happen. And that's the thing is, a lot of businesses have lost that sense, especially, you know, not to say every business is like that, but once you get going, you start thinking about the dollar amount and making that money. But we've learned in our 5 years that if we take care of our customer, they're going to take care of us, and things will work out. And that's where we strive. That's where we start at.
Awesome. Well, again, congratulations. You've got obviously a great thing going. Here's to another 5, 10, 20 years.
Hopefully.
So with that, folks, we will be back tomorrow with Chris. Who's here tomorrow? I don't even remember off the top of my head, but we'll have the Lost Treasures story for you later this week. So make sure that you keep an eye out for that. And until then, attack the rest of the day with an enthusiasm unknown to mankind. See you tomorrow.